can't swim! Why, are you crazy? The fall will probably kill you.
What's up, guys?
I hear Utah.
I think of the outlaws that were in the West, during the Wild West times and, all the different gangs.
The first outlaw that comes to mind when people talk about outlaws in the Wild West, especially in the Utah-Wyoming territories, is Robert Leroy Parker, but most people would know him by Butch Cassidy and his partner, the Sundance Kid. What these outlaws and I have in common, we do love firearms. One in particular, this Colt single-action Army 45 revolver, better known as the Peacemaker. This would be a common outlaw's favorite, as well as the gun that shaped the Wild West. Towards the end of the Civil War, cap and ball pistols began to phase out, and centerfire pistols became more popular and more affordable.
Rather than paying royalties to use a rival firearm manufacturer's design, Colt decided to go out and invent their own revolver that would have the metal cartridges. In 1872, Colt had filed a patent on the new revolver that they had just came up with design-wise. It was accepted by the United States Army.
Forever known as the single-action Army revolver.
The United States had purchased over 8,000 that were manufactured and shipped out that year. It was chambered in .45 Colt, which also became the most popular caliber,
especially amongst outlaws. Most law enforcement agencies at the time couldn't afford centerfire repeating pistols, and so they were stuck using the cap and ball still, which gave the outlaws the advantage. They could carry more ammo safely as well as reload their firearms faster.
So in 1889, Robert Leroy Parker, also known as Butch Cassidy, and his gang, who later would be called the Wild Bunch, including the Sundance Kid, had a string of mail robberies, payroll robberies, robbing banks, robbing all sorts of postal workers, anything to do with the railroads. They tried to hit that. Usually they would then split up and hide along the outlaw trail, and then they would join back up later to do the next job. Cassidy was incarcerated in 1894 in Fort Laramie, Wyoming, right after he was released. In 1896, he had gone into a hardware store in Vernal, Utah, and he had purchased his Colt. This firearm was significant. It was used in most of his robberies in that time period. It was also called Colt Amnesty. And the reason behind that, Butch Cassidy, being a Mormon boy from Beaver, Utah, growing up along the Sevier River, wanted to retire back in the Utah territories. Now that Utah had become a state in 1896, Butch Cassidy had actually met to obtain amnesty from the state governor. And part of that was an offering. He handed over this pistol that he had purchased, which was the Colt 45 SAA.
The governor rejected his request. However, he still kept the revolver.
The whereabouts of the pistol were unknown up until about 112 years later, when it turned up in a firearm auction in California. The pistol was authenticated and it sold for approximately $175,000. So that's the story behind Cassidy's Colt 45. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.